Okay, we are back on the Morning Brew for Wednesday morning, and it's March 27th. We are live here in Albuquerque today, and I'm Larry Ahrens, your host. Back with Justin De La Rosa. Justin is the food writer for Local IQ in our Check Your Local IQ segment. Justin, you always make me hungry every time you show up here. That was a great segment on the Price Fixed Dinners. I really enjoyed that. Now we have a guest in the house here.
Absolutely. This is sous chef Joseph Bauer, and he's the sous chef over at Zinc Wine Bar and Bistro in Nob Hill.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I've been working in kitchens for about 13 years now.
Have you?
So I have very few childhood memories that don't involve working in a kitchen in some facility or another.
Fantastic. How long have you been with Zinc now?
This is a little over 2 years now, or about a 2-year anniversary with Zinc.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I love the whole idea around the fixed price dinners. Is that something you guys in the kitchen like creating?
Absolutely. We have a prefix that runs year round that has just, you can get a small samplings of some of our classic dishes, and then we obviously rotate everything out seasonally. But lately I've been having a lot of fun doing these beer pairings or cocktail pairing dinners. And it's a fun opportunity to do food that we don't normally have on the menu, to do a little experimentation. Right. Or like in the last one we did kind of fun plays on bar food and recreating and reconstructing some dishes. Yeah. A little flair of creativity.
I love bar food, by the way. So what's your definition of bar food? What do you?
Well, what I did in the last one was I tried to sort of imagine a lot of familiar flavors and then reconstruct them either aesthetically, like we were talking about with the pork timbali. So you're recreating all these southern flavors, but you're constructing it into this sort of elevated presentation. Or making house-made gravlax and making a fun take on a like bagel and lox, East Coasty kind of bites. Yeah. Just trying to have fun with all these the flavors that we have at hand.
So you and everybody in the kitchen, do you guys kind of get together and go, hey, why don't we try this? Or let's go for this? Or describe the creative atmosphere inside the kitchen.
Well, I encourage everybody that works for us to come up with their own ideas, and they'll come up and ask me about something, whether I've done something before or not, and then maybe Chef and I will sit down and we'll have a little meeting. I mean, Chef and I will just hang out sometimes, and we'll just get all worked up and excited about these ideas, and then next thing you know, we get it on the fast track, try to get it on the menu, or put it somewhere in a prefix meal because we get excited about it. But the process itself is very lively. You have lots of new chefs who are excited about new concepts, and then you have Chef and I working together to try to just sort of make these things work and encourage these ideas as they happen.
So we're out there having all this great food. We're the diners, right? You guys are working hard in the kitchen. How do you hear what's going on in the dining room? Does the wait staff tell you? Do you peek out? Do you go out and visit with the guests? What do you do?
Well, we have a unique opportunity at Zinc because our kitchen is it's a completely open kitchen. So we get to see some of the diners coming in, and we sort of get to see a hint of what's going to happen as we see people
Do you feel like
flooding through the doors.
You're putting on a little show here, aren't you?
I think it's a lot. I mean, I think people pick up on the fact that we're having a lot of fun with it. I mean, by the time the service comes around, there's not a whole lot of decision making anymore. It's time to cook the food.
It's time to cook the food. We're all a little more intimate now with what goes on in a kitchen because of all these food shows on Food Network and things, and we see the pressure and the stress and the real immediacy of what happens when people order a plate of food, and you guys really have to get it out in time and make it fresh and hot and palatable and everything else.
Absolutely.
Do you on a busy night? What's that like?
I mean, it's like I said, I've been doing my whole life. I think it's a fun adrenaline rush. It's fun to be in this unique field where this is not one of those businesses where I can say, oh, you want a steak? Well, great, I'll get it to you next Tuesday. Like you don't really have that option. So there is that immediacy where it's like this 30 seconds count. This matters, or this if the server doesn't respond in a certain way, or a cook or an error is made, then you have to make these judgment calls. But I mean, it's fun. I think a lot of the guys in the line, including myself, just get a kick out of the adrenaline rush.
I don't know about you, Justin. I don't know. I kind of know what a sous chef does, but Joseph, what's your job exactly?
My job is to do whatever chef tells me to do.
When he says jump, you jump. Like that.
It's a second in command position.
It is.
So the French kitchens are
You're
sort
the
of based-
co-pilot.
You said it. You said it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where are you going with your career? Do you want to be the chef in your own restaurant someday? You working
Absolutely.
towards that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some experience in Atlanta before I moved here with that kind of experience. But honestly, working with Chris Pope over at Zinc and that whole crew over there is so much fun. I'm not going to say that. I want to say I'm stagnated, but it's very pacified with the situation.
Yeah.
Working with him is so much fun. Working with these ingredients,
Right.
having a relationship with the farmers, and then some of our meat vendors we do. It's
Yeah.
all built in and really, really, really great and satisfying.
Justin, we're lucky. We have a lot of these talented guys and gals around town who are creating some interesting things. And as you cover the food scene, you discover chefs and up-and-coming chefs like Joseph here. It's really something.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to meet people, like Joseph with, such a enthusiasm and, such a passion for food, and you can see that, when you check out, their restaurants or, their special dinners or whatever it is, that comes through on the food,
Yeah.
If you go to these restaurants where, it's just people who have been in and out the door, the whole time
Right.
with the kitchen staff and the wait staff, you can kind of feel that, you can kind of taste that, and you can understand that. But
Sure.
when you go to Zinc and you get to experience this thoughtful and creative food, you know that it's being made with by somebody who has a great passion for it, and I think that's always a fantastic thing.
Now, Joseph, is the culinary community in the city pretty tight? I mean, people that work at other restaurants and other chefs, and you kind of know what they're doing. And while there's a competitiveness, obviously, you also kind of hear what's going on, right?
I think it's in a long line of tradition of chefs who are equally competitive and supportive at the same time.
Right.
I mean, I think that all of us are aware of what our neighbors are doing. And I think a lot of that's motivated to make sure that we're having unique opportunities, that you can come to Nob Hill and then you can have a complete variety of
Right.
flavors and different kind of preparation styles. But I mean, this is a long, you back in the day, you read about in the 80s when you have all the TV star chefs now,
Right.
they were all getting drinks later after work and challenging each other,
Sure.
pushing each other, and I think it's a healthy tradition
I
of
like
competition and support.
Give me, if you had to choose a style that you like to cook in, what would it be?
And most of my training has just been in sort of traditional French, but I would like to do modern techniques as much as I possibly can, all sort of under this like French preparation style, all sort of an umbrella of these kind of techniques that I've been trained with.
I have just such a weakness for great sauces that French food has. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
You sit down for a great French meal and the sauce is just, it carries the day, right?
That's what they're famous for, is sort of the Escoffier's mother sauces.
Oh,
I mean,
I can taste it now. Very good. Hey, it's great to meet you. I got to come and have one of the fixed price dinners
Absolutely.
with you guys and explore that. Now, Zinc is where in Nob Hill?
It's in Nob Hill, yes. It's just it's right on Central, kind of towards the west side of the main strip there.
Got to come in and dine with you guys.
Absolutely.
It sounds delicious.
Well,
Thanks for getting up so early. I know these aren't your hours, but I appreciate you coming in.
well, thank you.
And hey, Justin, thank you.
Absolutely.
Great to see you.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week on our food segment.